What'd you think of the speech last night? What'd you think of the whole mess?
Well, I have to tell you that I think it was a very weak and whiny attempt for, President Obama to get another 4 years when everything about him, from the economic security, energy security, and national security aspect, his policies have been a failure. When you think about what he said early on, that if he could not turn this economy around in 4 years, then he's a one-term proposition. The fact that he gave us an almost $1 trillion plus stimulus and said that it will keep our unemployment, below 8%, and promised right now that it will be about 5.6%. It's just more falsifications and more deceit, and just trying to get us to continue to trust him when I don't think he has any type of ability whatsoever. We elected a community organizer, and this is what we get.
I was struck last night that he used the word divine providence. He
was
about
quoting Thomas Jefferson left and right.
Oh, my gosh. He actually, for the first time in his presidency, I think he actually got it right when he said all men are created equal and endowed by their creator.
Yeah, but Glenn, come on. This was the day after the little fiasco on the delegate floor when we found out that they had taken out, reference to God in their platform, and also recognizing Jerusalem as the rightful capital of the modern-day state of Israel. And, of course, we all saw what happened when they tried to have the floor delegate debate based upon the amendment by Governor Ted Strickland. So for him to all of a sudden, find the godly heritage of our constitutional republic I think it was more of a show than anything else.
Let me play just a clip of Cardinal Dolan from last night. I think this guy has him made right out of steel. Listen to this in his prayer.
Grant us the courage to defend it, life without which no other rights are secure. We ask your benediction on those waiting to be born, that they may be welcomed and protected.
You've got NARAL on the docket to speak, and then he gets up and he says this.
Oh, yeah, and I'm sure Senator Fluke was not very happy with that either. But you have to understand that one of the reasons why you just have to love Cardinal Dolan is that he stands by his principles. And hopefully we can get more people in the Catholic Church to do that and see that, this was really not about contraception. This was about an intrusive nature of government going against the free exercise of religion thereof, and having a government that would then be able to redefine or define what a religious organization or institution is.
People like Barack Obama, and they haven't married into Mitt Romney because I'm not, I don't really know what he's going to do, or I don't really know. I don't know if I trust him. Can you put this in context of what this election is really all about?
Well, I think this election is about style versus substance. I think that this election is about a cult of personality versus someone that has a proven character and proven leadership. When I was at the RNC, I found it just incredible that people were asking me, how do we know who Mitt Romney is, and how does Mitt Romney, tell us who he is? Well, 4 years ago, he's the same guy that was running for president. He's been the governor of a state. He recovered our Salt Lake City Olympics, which was, right after 9/11, and he's been very successful in the private sector, in the business field. But yet you think about in 2008, we were pretty much so forced to accept and vote for someone that we couldn't even say his middle name. And so now we're starting to discover, who really Barack Hussein Obama is, and we're starting to see now his record and his policies, which I think reflect the inner sanctum of the man. And these things that he believes in is inconsistent with the, constitutional conservative values of this great republic. And like I say, he can continue to channel, Reagan or Lincoln or Thomas Jefferson or whoever, but he's just regurgitating quotes. I don't think that that's something he has truly inculcated. And you you brought it up earlier when I was listening to the show, is that, your formative years in life is from 0 to 10 years of age. And, what really is the background? I think it's a different type of background that, opposed to someone like myself that was going to Atlanta Braves baseball games or looking at Joe Torre, Hank Aaron, Rico Carty. And, I was there when the Atlanta Hawks first started their basketball team. So, 4th of July, having a father who served in World War II, a brother in Vietnam, it's about your experiences, and I think that's what we're starting to see, someone that really does not understand the American experience, but he can give a great speech.
There's a story that's breaking this morning. The White House is circulating a draft of a new executive order on cybersecurity. This is what was kicked out by the Republicans before. It looks like he's just going to start regulating the Internet through executive order.
And this is what I'm talking about. When you understand what our founding fathers created in our government, they created a system of checks and balances and separations of power. And what you're starting to see is a president that if he cannot get what he wants through the legislative process, he just does it by executive order fiat. I mean, we are really not being governed. We're being ruled by edict. And it's interesting that this is being floated. Like many other things that, kind of happen when we're not in session. We get back in session next Monday, but we had a very good cybersecurity bill. They had bipartisan support. Mike Rogers from Michigan is sharp on this stuff, but it's voluntary. And we cannot start to have a government which is going to start dictating what has to happen in the Internet. And I think I just forgot the legislation that was killed. It was trying to come out of the Senate. They had to deal with regulating the Internet, and, of course, Google and other people started to shut themselves down because of it. We can't go that path.
The gas prices are $2 more than they were under George W.
Remember how they were screaming? It was, like I say, $1.84, I think, when the president was inaugurated, and people were screaming about George W. Bush. And you're right, this was the all-time high at this time of the year around Labor Day, $3.79 to $3.83, depending on where you are for the average price of gasoline. And to hear the president last night talk about all the great things he's going to do for coal, well, I can tell you we have a coal cogeneration plant here in Indiantown in Martin County, and they're scared like you know what because they see what's happening in Kentucky, West Virginia, which is their supplier. I think you've seen about a 40 to 44% decrease in the coal industry in some of these areas up there. Ohio is also included in that, and that's all EPA regulation, and that's going to affect the middle class and as far as electricity prices. And the president last night, you keep hearing liberals talk about the middle class and all this, but think about the commodity prices in the grocery store. Think about the gasoline prices. Think about the fact that in these 3.5 years, you've seen a 2.6 to 4% decrease in the median family income, which is for the middle class, $38,000 to about $110,000. But even worse, in the black community, it's 11%, Glenn. So these are the truth. These are the facts that have to get out there, which the president's not going to talk about. And definitely he's not going to talk about a $16 trillion debt, which hit at the start of this convention.
Alan, thank you very much. Thanks for speaking the truth, and we'll talk again.
Take care, Glenn.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Alan West. Seemed out of control. I mean, he was just saying such crazy things.
He's an extremist.
Oh, my gosh.
That's